And I'm talking, just pondering out loud about where we're at now and how our past relationships or past experiences kind of affect our present now.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So before we went on, we were having like this really good conversation, and we would love to share it with you guys and just extend it.
Yeah.
So if you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to comment down below or send us a message.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're here.
So we were talking about like who we are now,
and how now we were molded from our past, and all the people that we came in contact with helped mold us to who we are now.
Yeah.
And it's pretty incredible because, I've been through a lot of different trauma things in my past with my own relationships and traumas for myself that has definitely molded me. And I was just letting her know that, like, oh my gosh, I would never change anything that has ever happened in my past or any person that I have ever come in contact with. Instead of going, why did this happen to me? Or why did that person do this to me? Or I wish that didn't happen to me.
Oh, yeah.
I thank the universe. Thank you. I'm so grateful for that because it molded me. I took what it was and I said, why is this happening? Okay, how can I work through it?
Yeah.
And then it molded me to be the person that I am now. And I'm way more open and aware and
it's like you also get curious with it.
Yeah.
Like I remember my sister, it was my niece, one of them asked me like, hey, do you regret being in this relationship where you almost got married? In my family, just like the people really close to me knew that was like the hardest part of my life in a way. And my answer was like, no, like I don't regret it at all.
Right.
And whoever asked me was like, what, why? And I was like, because it showed me so much of like who I actually am.
Yeah, exactly.
And afterwards there was like a period of like, okay, what happened and where was like my light dimmed? But it gave me so much to work with as to moving forward, right? Like we're talking about in relationships with who I am, with like jobs or whatever, as to was it what I was willing to accept and not accept.
Exactly.
So it kind of gave me more of that like juice.
Yeah.
This is
hard lessons, but that's okay. Hard lessons are a great way to grow.
Yeah.
And
one of the things that you mentioned too that was really good was like, what is it from our past relationships? Not what. You mentioned something along the lines of like, what is it in the past relationships to be aware of for who we are now with our relationship so we don't bring it? You made like a really good point to really be aware of that.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Like, oh, like, this boyfriend did this and you're manifesting it with this partner. Right? But it's like, actually, like, that's not the best way to...
Right. I feel like from my experiences too and people that I know, I have realized that some of the things that have happened to me in my past that I brought with me in my future, whoever I come in contact with that's in my present, those people had no really relevance or connection to what that one person in my past did.
Yeah.
So through my healing journey, I have gave myself permission to say it's okay that I may have some triggers or some little PTSD triggers or just any of those. That's okay. However, I need to be mindful that I don't bring those triggers onto the people that are in my present that only want the best for me or that's trying to help me push forward, or people that are there that I have been able to, have in my life because I was able to break free from some of my stagnant energy that I had in my past. So now I'm in a positive environment. But by me bringing that negativity with me into my present, that's not going to do me a service. It can happen, and that's okay. Like I say, it's okay. It happens as long as I'm mindful of it and I go, hey, listen, like, why am I acting this way? Or why is this happening? Oh, okay. It's because of this. So if I acknowledge it, like what you don't acknowledge, it's going to be hard to change. And I don't like the word change, shift. So if I want to try to shift myself so I'm not putting my yucky stuff that happened to me in my past into
Yeah.
the people in my future, my relationships in my future,
Yeah.
my present, my future. I need to acknowledge the fact that, hey, I had a past, I'm working on myself.
Yeah.
This is stemmed from this person or this experience, and I don't want to bring it with me in the future. But if it happens, I recognize it, and then it stops, right?
It's like, what comes up for me as you're saying that is like, in my relationship now, when we were first dating, I remember being very kind of like guarded.
Yeah, exactly.
And very kind of like mistrusting.
But that's not his fault,
like,
though.
No, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it was very, it's been a very nice experience, even though it's been rough, where it's like I bring these feelings or these thoughts out, and the truth of what's in front of me is not actually what my thought is saying or like my feelings.
Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of like what you're saying about your partner too, where it's such a blessing to have a partner that's open and that's willing to kind of explore these parts with you. Yeah. Because in the moments, it's kind of like, okay, like he's calling me out for something and I feel like it's true, but there's nothing happening.
Yeah.
But it's like in that space, it's like, oh, I've been willing to kind of go back and be like, oh, this was what has happened in my relationships. It's been a pattern.
Yeah.
And I just only feel it true in my body.
Yeah.
Like, not necessarily that it's actually happening,
right,
but in my body it's true.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's a lot of just like mindfulness of, okay, like what is in my feeling? I'm feeling like triggered here, like I'm feeling like upset, like whatever it is, and just being able to have the space to process it, even just within myself, and then logically kind of come back to it like, it's not what's happening though. You know?
That's what I did.
It's a lot of work though.
It is.
It's like I see too, just family and friends where there's always like a reaction. It's like this, and it's like, wait, actually, like if you step back, that's not really what's happening.
Yeah.
Right. But it's very scary to be in that space and to kind of open up and let go. You know, just from my own experience, it's like, oh, if I open myself up to even get curious about it or to explore that feeling, what if it happens? Like I just let my guard down. Now I'm vulnerable. So it's very scary to be in that space to explore it. But I think just from both of our experiences, I can pretty much say like it is also, even though it's scary, it's also very worth it. Because it's like I've been in those situations where that's happening, and then it's actually, oh, like there's love, there's like the unity, there's this relationship that I've been wanting, but I have to let go things that I thought a relationship was because of my patterns popped up.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So even with this, it's like, okay, like I have a question for both of us, right? Like, what's like that for, like, that happened for us to be aware of, like, oh, actually, it's my past. It's not what's happening now. It's not this boyfriend or this husband that I have. Like, what was the awareness
for me?
Yeah.
I got
for both of us too.
I got divorced twice.
Okay.
The underlying problem.
Okay.
I can't say everything was his fault, you know, the person's fault. Yes, I would say for me in particular, I made poor choices based off of insecurities on myself, low self-worth for myself, and feeling like I don't deserve better. That's where I went wrong. And I know I deserve amazing deep down, but on the surface, I didn't feel like I deserved that other people deserve that, other people have that.
Yeah.
So Disney princesses have that. Disney princesses have that. Not no. And I always wanted to have a family and the whole thing. And I was that girl. By this age, I want to find my man, then I want to get married, then I want to have kids by this age, and I was very on the ball when it comes to training. And so when I was like, okay, I'm at this age now, I find the man, I kind of grabbed on to whoever just gave me that lovely attention for that moment, knowing that there was some wobbles in him, and I'm like, oh, it's okay. I gave him excuses and excuses,
it's like
right? Exactly. Oh, it's okay.
Huge.
No one's perfect.
Like funny. And it says like when you see all red flags, you think it's a carnival. Like, towards it.
Yeah.
It's like totally related.
Yeah.
Like
that's what I said. I said like, oh my god, he had so many red flags. It was like the carnival was a
but that feels like the benefit of it. Because it feels like even right now as we're talking, it's like, oh, we have that core dominant like thing in our past where it's like every time they showed who they were or we knew that it wasn't right. Like,
Well, I gave a lot of excuses because no one's
oh
perfect.
yeah,
If it's not this, then it would have been something else, right? And then I just made up more excuses for it, and I thought my timing is like I have to be on my timing. So I grabbed it, ran with it, walking down the aisle, knowing I will be divorced. That's pretty sad, but that's where my mind was. It was just desperation, and got married. Luckily, didn't have the kid, but that happily, I'm so happy. It was a happy moment for me to come out and go, you know what? I don't deserve this. And I was able to walk free. And I found myself in another situation where I did expect more. And on the surface, it was a lot better than my first. But I, again, made excuses for the things that I knew were okay.
okay.
But it's okay because, again, I'm so grateful for those experiences because once I was able to get out of that, and I have a beautiful baby girl, I am now in a place where I finally have been able to look back and say, you know what?
Yeah.
I love myself so much and I value myself so much. And I don't need that princess fairy tale. I can give it to myself. I have it for myself because I actually value myself. Once I was able to break free from the second time, and I have found my sanctuary with just me and my daughter, and we were able to just be for us finally. And I had that. I can breathe again. And I was able to do a lot of, work on myself. I came into a place where I'm now happily married again. I found that person where the first date, because I have nothing to lose. I sat down and I laid everything on the table, anything that could scare him away, because I didn't have anything to lose. And I said, I am going to give you my full, true, authentic Sarah, because that's what you deserve. That's what I deserve. Okay. And I'm not going to give you anything less.
You became aware of like how you were your whole self. And then it was a transition of like being like you work on it.
I was living for somebody else.
Okay.
I wasn't being for me. And it wasn't like, oh, I want to be selfish. No, I'm a very, give and take. And I was giving so much. I was giving all of me because I didn't value myself. I was giving them everything and I wasn't getting anything in return. And that whole thing, relationship, and I'm talking about relationships, really, any relationship, 50-50. I think that's BS. A relationship it should be 100. Okay. Give 100% of your efforts. Now, there's always going to be the time when you're with a friend or partner or whatever, and you're just not your full, like you're not you, and they do kind of lift a little bit more. It happens. Ultimately, I think it's 100%. It's 100% efforts on one person and 100% on the other. I was giving 100%, and I was getting like 20% is what I was feeling. So my 100% was now at 180% now. And I was draining myself, and I could feel my batteries and I was just done.
I'm so curious too, like in this relationship now, are there any times where you brought like the past, kind of like the relationship or the partner?
Yeah.
Like when you become aware of it, shit, actually, it's not
to me. Yeah.
It's not you, actually.
Yes.
You believe.
So wonderful. And this is why me and Jimmy work so well together, because he's been through his experiences and I've been through my experiences. And our communication is so awesome. So now, if we ever have any kind of something, again, like something that maybe from the past is maybe something, nothing that he said was directly at me, but maybe he said something and it just was a little trigger. I take a step back, and instead of reacting like I used to be, a little bit more like, I'm more like, I'm more like, okay, honey, just give me a minute. That's what I say. Sometimes I need like a minute, because sometimes emotional work again, right? And I go, and he goes, "What's wrong?" You know, because he knows what I've been through. And I go, "Okay, when you said blah 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 blah, whatever it was, I know you meant it this way. However, it came off this way."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't mean to." Like, and we talk about it. So it's definitely something that I never not, even if it sounds very trivial. You know what I mean? Trivial. It's like
Lowbrow.
it seems so simple and like trivial. Yeah, with the V, right? Trivial.
Correct.
I never hold it in because that was old Sarah. Old Sarah would hold it in, and I would push it down and push it down and push it down, and then it would turn into resentment.
Oh yeah.
And I don't want to resent anymore because then if that happens, then my Jimmy will suffer the consequences later, and he's gonna have no freaking clue why I'm all I'll react and all that. But it was simple. When really it was just an accumulation of things that happened over a period of time that I have chosen not to say anything about it.
So then it's like a lot of communication, like
100%. We're very aware of what we have to each other. And
that's something that I've learned a lot with like this relationship, where it's like before, because I didn't want to kind of like shake, whatever we had, ask questions or when it's so it's kind of like, let me just swallow.
I don't want to argue. I don't want to have that argument. Let's have that argument. But we don't argue. It's a discussion. It's like, hey, let's just discuss how this came out. Or let's discuss what happened.
Now for me, it's become like, even just in general, it's like, okay, let me just talk about it. Because it's true. Like, I've noticed that I have this demeanor in me where if something's wrong, like anybody can tell. Right? I like that. Like, kind of just, you
wear your heart on your sleeve.
So now it's kind of like, okay, like, let me talk about it. Like, see where it goes.
Right. And another thing is,
it's so interesting. Like, this actually came out when I was trip, right? Because there's something that like was in the city hall with me. We were all having like a talk, and I was like, should I stay quiet? Like, I don't want to rock the boat. Like, all this other stuff, right? And I'm like, you don't want to speak up. But I did, and just I was so surprised by how I said it because it was like very much like, you guys, I love you. You guys are doing a great job. Like that kind of conversation.
No, I'm just kidding. It's called the sandwich. You say positive, you say the shitty thing, and then you say the positive thing on top.
I totally understand it. Like, before it felt like I had to know and you feel like my words were okay. Like, I didn't want to trigger anybody. And it's always been weird for me to like not upset people. Like, I don't want to be mindful. Right? And it's been weird for me, even in this relationship where it's like, if I say something and you're upset, like, that's fine. But it's also not my responsibility to fix it. Yeah. So when it was like that thing that was happening in the meeting, I was like, this is going on, and it was just like so awesome to kind of be able to express like what I wanted to share and what I was not okay with, and it feeling like
people were
like, but
more.
not care. Not that I didn't care, but again, with relationships, right? Like there's moments where I didn't speak up because it's kind of like, oh, is the love going to be taken away? Like, are we going to argue? Are we going to be disconnected? Like, there's so much going on. But it was so nice to feel that feeling of like, oh, I can say it and just feel like, oh, I said it. Like, it's a totally different. Well, people like relationship. Now it's kind of like, okay, I'm going to say it, and I'm just going to feel like that ease because I said it. It doesn't matter what the outcome is.
I have also learned that going through with my relationships with friends as well. I have finally opened myself up, or I've stepped into a new me. I'm a completely different chapter of my life now, and I'm loving it. And I have mindfully chosen to be an authentic Sarah. I'm always kind. I'm always mindful. I'm not like, I've never been that way. Yeah. I'm very mindful, like you are. You're mindful. But it's so important to stay with yourself, but be open, even in friendships. And if those people have a problem with you or a problem with that, then I feel like, you know what, then they're just not a good fit for your life at that time. If they want to continue mad at you or don't want to talk to you or this and that, then you know what, then that's here. And I'm going to continue my path because I'm choosing happy. I'm choosing to live.
I think it happens. happens too, like as we like do our own inner work, as we go into that space where we do end up like our what is it, vibration changes.
It totally does.
So it's something I've experienced a lot too, where it's kind of like, oh yeah, you do the work, and then the people like just it just doesn't fit.
It doesn't fit anymore, and it's okay. Everybody comes into your life, like you say, come for a second. They can come in for minutes, hours, days, weeks, season, whatever it may be. And it's a lesson. It's a learning lessons, and they serve their purpose, and you serve your purpose for them, and taught them something in some way. And if you don't ever talk to them again, then you know that was the purpose was served.
Yeah.
I just want to surround myself with uplifting people for me. And it doesn't mean that those people are bad. It just means they're just not on my vibration, and that's okay.
But going back to the topic that we started with, like what is it about? What was it like our past and like who we are now and being aware? That's something too to be mindful of, like the friendships that we have.
Yes. Yeah, they've all
now, because even now, even just like the triggers or things that we're not aware of breaking. Because it's something that I'm being aware of now too. Is like we were talking about it earlier too, the overcommunication, right? Where it's like that's not who I want to be anymore. That's not what I'm striving for. But it's like, oh, I've had friendships where I've always said yes. Yes, I'll be there. Yes, I'll do it for you. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And now it's like when there's like things that are coming up, and it's like, oh, okay, I'm having a hard time. It's like, where's this coming from? It's like, oh yeah, like this is from like my family shit. This is from like past friendship shit. Like, okay, like who am I now? Who do I want to be? So I feel like it always goes back to like where you're at in the present moment. And it just happened again. Like, we were gonna hang out, and I'm like, oh, back, like I really just want to be in my bubble and my space, and it's like, okay, where is this like guilt or where is this like over accommodation coming from? And it's like, okay, like it's from this and this, I think, and even if I don't know or it's not where I want to be now or future.
Right.
So it becomes like this aspect of like, okay, if I trust myself and if I trust the people that I'm surrounding with, they're gonna understand. And even if they don't, there's gonna be trust that they're gonna talk to me about it. Or it's gonna be like, hey, I miss you, like you've been like to me from like 5 times. It's like I trust that we've developed this open communication where we can talk about it. Right. It's really cool to kind of be aware of like, okay, well, like, where's that coming from? Where's like
right.
Like what is it that I would react to or say, whatever it is, and then be like, where am I going? Who do I want to become?
Right.
Yeah. And it felt like a little guilty for a little bit, but it's like again, it's like I can say yes, go to it. It'll be resentful about going. I won't have a good time, or maybe I will, right? But I'll come home feeling like crap, like I didn't do myself. Like I could have prepared for my week however I wanted to, right? But instead, it's like I chose myself. I chose who I wanted to become. We were very understanding. Like great, like moving forward.
I've also chosen myself in my own relationship with me, because a part of my my divorce with my second divorce, I've told myself, you know what, I have a daughter, and of course her needs come first. I mean, I got a daughter, and I got to do all the things that are important. However, Sarah is important too, and I'm going to take Sarah. And if I'm not 100% authentically good for me, then I can't be good for my daughter who really relies on me. And I tell clients, they're very busy and they're finally coming in to get the judge, hair and all that. And I say, good job, mama. Good job, mama, because you deserve this. And this is the least selfish thing you can do. Because when you walk out of here, your head's held just a little higher. You feel that much, confident. You can, even though it's a surface thing, it doesn't matter. It's putting a little bit more just positive emphasis in who you are as a human. So then you can be like, I got this. I'm all about that. I'm all about being able to, you can't control what happens in the world. Sometimes you feel like you have a lot of weight on your shoulders. You feel like you're like carrying a lot of weight, mommyhood and husband relationships, friends, whatever. It's a lot of weight. But sometimes it's nice to feel just more clear, or no resentment because you're communicating better. You're being more mindful about what you're doing and how you're coming across to people, and like being mindful of your past, not allowing that to dictate your future. And you can just say, you know what, I have a lot going on, but I got this. It's like, instead of like, ugh, it's no, I got this. And you just, one thing at a time, you chip away at it. You have to be good right away, but you got that mindset, the positive mindset. Go, I got this, because you got that confidence. And you go, I'm good with myself.
Yeah.
And I'm so good with myself, and I'm so in love with who I am now, that I'm so grateful that I had this past, because without that, I never would have had who I am to say, I got this.
Yeah.
I'm all about feeling strong and having good, balance and stability. So that's where I rise up right now as my journey continues, and I'm constantly growing and learning. I feel like I can do it with really strong foundations, and I am now surrounding myself by all the people that love and support me, that know me, and that will listen and hear me, but I also do back in return, and we're just a team in this game of life.
Oh, this team.
Yeah, that's really what it is. We're all trying to get through life, and we're all going through life, and we are a team. It's a team effort, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not here to be that pawn that pushes somebody else off the board, the playing board. No, I want everybody to rise up, and feel good and clear. And I lost that. I didn't have it before. I didn't recognize it before, but I finally, this is what it's about. It's about getting through life and having all of the people around you, just everyone just helps with support and get through life, right?
That's right.
Exactly. So, the people that you felt knocked you off the board too. And
there's so many times where like I've done like rituals, or not, I don't know if they're rituals, where I've done like letters. There was this part of my life where I was like thinking about my relationships, like the men that I've been in with, and not just boyfriends, but the guys that I've slept with. And it's like, I wrote a letter. So I wrote them a letter, and I wrote a letter to myself. Like I wrote a letter to myself, like the choices I had made, but also like giving myself like so many cheers. So it's like, you're fucking explored.
Yeah.
And then I wrote a letter, like not like one-on-one, but just like, hey, to the dudes that I've been involved with, like, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Like, I appreciate you, thank you. And it was more like an energetic kind of cutting cords kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because I went detailed into it, and in that moment, it felt like, okay, we're releasing this energetic stuff.
Right. And you're not getting rid of what happened. You're not getting rid of all that affected you forward.
There's just like an energetic.
It's just cutting that cord that's not allowed to be, like have influence on you moving forward.
Yeah.
Right. It's
energetic. Like releasing all
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
It's a relationship talk.
Yeah.
There you go.
So true.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
No. And
I
every
was thinking too, like, because it popped up right now, because one of the things that happens, and I hear it a lot in relationships, like when there's breakups, where like this of like, oh, I'm untrue, or like, oh, the love wasn't true, like, fucking me over, like all this other stuff. That's not. And one of the things that was like, love that I experienced was real in that moment.
Yeah.
Like that compassion, that joy, that like connection, even though it ended however it ended, or even though like maybe trust was broken at the end, it's like, oh, it was still real.
It was real. Yeah.
And it's like, I'll take it.
Because in that mindset that in the past, that was the love that we knew how to do.
Oh, yeah,
like that's what we knew love was. I mean, that was the fullest capability through and learn through all that. And then now we're like, okay, now I get it. Like, it's a different, the love is just shifted into more of a mature kind of a love of an unconditional type of love where now like for me, I'm not resentful where now I get like all snippy sometimes. Now I'm very mindful because I don't want to hurt my husband. I don't want to say something because I feel hurt by him, not Jimmy, but I'm talking about a man or whatever. I don't want to. Oh, I was hurt in my past, and now I'm going to bring that with me, and then they're going to make me mad for that reason, and I'm just going to try to hurt them back.
Yeah.
That's to me. I used to do that. I don't do that anymore. Now it's shifted where now I'm mindful with what I say because I understand now that I know what it feels like. I understand what it feels like to be treated a certain way.
Yeah.
And I don't ever want to put that on anybody else.
Yeah.
And so I have developed and I have molded myself into where like now I feel like the love that I have, the capacity of love that I have is more of like I'm feeling like I'm getting 100% back. And so now our just so much more fuller and respected. Yeah. You know, it's different.
What helps it for me, like when I think about the relationship, it's like it's free.
Exactly. It's very free. Very free. Because I am Sarah all the way.
Yeah.
Unapologetically Sarah now. And I get to do that with my life partner, which is absolutely incredible. But I got to that point by my past relationships that I wish before I never had to go through that. No, I'm so glad that I did because I needed to learn and understand so I can be who I am today. And we're only going to keep growing. You know?
Yeah, that is so true. Audience, do you have any questions?
I do.
Oh,
question,
okay.
Right? The love that you keep speaking about that you're now able to experience, do you think that it is directly proportional to the amount of love you're willing to give yourself or receive from yourself as well, or think that you are lovable or your lovability is?
For lovable, I don't know if repeat that one more time. The love for myself is
right. So do you think that the love for yourself, right, is directly the reason that you're beginning to allow more love into your life?
Oh, yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yes. Because I feel like without loving myself, which is why I said like I genuinely like who I am. I would be my friend. I would be my friend. I like me.
No, I agree. I'll make videos and I'm
I genuinely love who I am. I like who I am. I know like my core soul, and I know that I mean no harm. I just know that I've been had not a lot of respect for myself, not really understanding why led me to the path that I was on to a point with my past marriages and failed relationships and stuff. But by genuinely finding myself, recognize it's okay to be me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't need anybody. That's when I found my life partner. But I didn't need anybody, but like I'm and then and I still was like, I didn't do that when we did. I don't want to like shit any walk. I don't want to I don't want to get mad. No. I know what kind of feeling I have. If I feel a little bit he maybe hit something that no, I don't feel that way. It's okay to feel and it's okay to see it. Yeah. That's what start to respect myself. I respect what it was exactly. I respect myself today with stuff.
I think it is love, but it's also honesty with yourself.
Right.
Where it's because because I
Authenticity.
Yeah.
I think into also it kind of have like that ripple effect where I'm able to receive it from like other people.
Yeah.
And before, like I don't know if I want it.
Yeah. That's
If I
what
don't,
I said. Yeah.
I remember like my friend and I, like maybe a year or two, him and I were going back, like, he was like, the list, what's the list? And I'm like, I don't even, I can't be who I am, what if I don't want it?
Mhm.
You know, it's like silly self, like picture self,
Yeah.
like, just talking out loud self, like, like, I don't,
No, because I don't want to hold myself in. Like, be me. Yeah. I don't like that feeling. It's a feeling.
So you think we're good for today? Closing expressions, or what would you welcome as far as like comments or so go ahead and yes with ourselves. It's right. It's not necessarily. It isn't a game of like a dowry. Right? We're not being stuff. And then is there something else that maybe you guys are going to speak about next week or 2 weeks?
Yeah.
2 weeks. Yes.
Well,
You
like,
guys.
no,
All right.
if there's anything
What I'm going to do is I'm going to say, leave your comments. You'll use them for
definitely join us though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You know, for me, it would be like, remember, we're all working from home, we're all human experience together, and we're all working together.
Being genuine. I mean, that's the only thing that being genuine and don't be afraid to be yourself, be who you are, know who you are. It really is feeling like breaking the chains, you know. Feeling like my parents were always behind my back and everything was just so hard to do, you know. It's hard. Life shouldn't be hard.
Yeah.
Having a partner should be a partner, not another.
Yeah.
Like that's not. That's why I wasn't afraid to divorce again. It's okay. I'm okay with that. My go through, and that's okay. And it's okay to not be okay. That's it's okay to not be okay. Yes. Yes. Much love.